you're tuning into something different, something deeper. Welcome to a space where the unseen becomes seen, where the patterns beneath reality are decoded. This isn't just a podcast, it's a journey into the mechanics of belief, perception, and the multidimensional truths shaping our world. If you've ever felt like an outsider looking in, questioning the systems you're told to follow, you're in the right place. This is The Outcast, the Pattern Podcast. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at something that might just flip your understanding of consciousness on its head a bit.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about the brain,
Yeah.
We're diving deep into the heart's role. It's pretty significant.
Right.
Our main source here is an article, The Heart's Hidden Intelligence and the Expansion of Consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know this might sound a little maybe out there for some of you listening, but stick with us. It gets interesting.
It really does. I mean, for so long, the brain has held the spotlight, hasn't it? Like, it's the only source of our conscious experience.
Totally.
But, well, this article, and honestly, a whole growing field of research, they're showing that consciousness is much more intricate, a collaboration, really.
Yeah.
And the heart plays this surprisingly intelligent, powerful part. So our mission today, I guess, is to unpack how the heart's way more than just a pump.
Right. More than a pump.
Yeah, and how its inherent intelligence gives us these insights into our own inner power, our capabilities, and even how we connect with each other.
Okay, so, yeah, for most of us, the heart pumps blood. Simple, right? But this article talks about a heart brain. What exactly is that?
Well, what's fascinating here is the heart isn't just, reacting to signals from the brain.
Yeah.
It actually has its own complex network of neurons, like a mini brain, kind of, right there in the heart.
A mini brain. Wow.
Yeah, and this system, it lets the heart process information, learn things, remember experiences, and even make decisions, sort of independent from the brain's higher functions.
That's incredible. So it's not a one-way street, like commands just coming down from the brain?
Yeah.
How does the heart talk back?
Oh, it's definitely a two-way street, a dynamic exchange. And actually, get this, the heart sends significantly more information to the brain than the brain sends down to the heart.
Really? How?
Well, through neurological pathways, sure, but also through something pretty remarkable. A powerful electromagnetic field. The heart generates it.
An electromagnetic field.
Yeah.
Like coming out of our bodies.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. This field the heart produces, it's the most powerful rhythmic energy field in the whole human body.
Okay.
Its electrical part is about, say, 60 times stronger than the brain's electrical activity.
50 times.
Yeah. And the magnetic part, it's like 5,000 times stronger.
5,000 times.
It's huge. And even more amazing, this field isn't just stuck inside us. You can actually detect it several feet away from the body.
Wow. Okay. So our emotional state isn't just internal. It's actually kind of broadcasting something.
That seems to be the case.
The article then gets into coherence related to this. Can you break that down? What is coherence?
Right. So that leads to this important question, how do our internal states show up outwardly? And pioneering research, especially from the Institute of Heart Math, has shown our emotions directly shape our heart rhythms.
How so?
Well, when we feel negative stuff like fear, anger, frustration, our heart rhythms get all erratic, chaotic, really.
Okay. Makes sense.
But conversely, when we feel positive emotions, think love, appreciation, compassion, that kind of thing, our heart rhythms become smooth, ordered, almost like a perfect sine wave,
And that smooth, ordered rhythm, that's coherence.
Exactly. That state of coherent heart rhythms leads to what they call psychophysiological coherence.
Psychophysiological coherence. Okay.
Yeah, it's basically a state where all our body's systems, the heart, the brain, the nervous system, they're all working together in harmony. And the benefits, they're pretty profound.
Like what?
Like more mental clarity, better emotional regulation so you're not flying off the less stress, obviously, and even boosts in cognitive ability and, interestingly, intuition. It's like when your heart's coherent, that brain fog lifts.
Right.
Your decision-making gets sharper. It's like unlocking a higher gear for your whole system.
So by actively choosing or cultivating positive emotions, we're not just feeling good, we're actually tuning our internal system, boosting our inner power, our ability to think clearly and manage ourselves. That's powerful.
It really is. It shifts the focus inward, doesn't it, to what we can generate.
Okay, so then the article takes it a step further. Interpersonal coherence. How does my heart coherence affect the people around me?
Yeah, this is where that big electromagnetic field comes back in.
Because
It radiates outwards, right?
several feet.
Exactly. So it seems it can actually transmit information between people. Some studies suggest that when one person gets into that coherent state, their heart rhythms and maybe even their brain waves can influence people nearby, kind of like tuning forks. They start to synchronize.
So it's almost like our hearts are capable of this silent, energetic conversation.
In a way, yeah, it seems like it. It's probably very subtle, this energetic resonance, but it appears to be part of what underlies feelings of empathy, that sense of connections, social harmony. It hints at this level of interconnectedness we're maybe not always aware of consciously.
That's fascinating. And I guess this builds into the next idea, a social field. What's that about?
Right. So if you zoom out, the social field is basically the collective, energetic, and emotional vibe, you could say, created by a group of individuals.
Okay, like a group energy.
Kind of, yeah. Just like your heart generates its field, a group collectively creates this shared field. And within that field, the patterns of emotion, whether it's coherence or, incoherence, like stress and tension, are constantly being exchanged and influencing everybody in the group.
So if a group like a family or a team has a lot of positive, coherent energy flowing, it makes it a better, more positive environment for everyone in it.
Precisely.
Yeah, think about the really strong bond between a mother and her baby, or a sports team that's totally in sync.
Right.
That positive emotional energy generates a coherent social field. And that seems to foster things like a stronger sense of group identity, better emotional intelligence within the group, and just a shared awareness. It clicks.
Mm-hmm.
And importantly, the positive energy we generate inside ourselves, that directly feeds into making these social dynamics healthier. It starts within. This is really expanding how I think about the heart. Okay, then the article touches on something really, really intriguing. The heart's intuitive capacity. It suggests the heart might get information before stuff happens.
Yes. It's arguably one of the most mind-bending areas of this research. There are experiments suggesting the heart actually registers information about future events seconds before they occur, even before the brain seems to know.
How is that even possible?
Well, the theory some researchers are exploring is that the heart might be tapping into something called the spectral domain.
Spectral domain.
Yeah, think of it as maybe a more fundamental level of reality. An energetic field where information isn't locked into our usual linear time and space.
Wow. So it's almost like the heart has this deeper antenna connecting to something beyond just, here and now.
That's sort of the implication, yeah. This deeper energetic field, if it exists like that, could be where consciousness and energy are all unified. It might be the basis for intuition, that gut feeling, And for our sense of being interconnected, maybe even for spiritual insights, it really does reinforce this idea that we have these inherent capabilities, this inner knowing, that goes way beyond what we normally think.
It definitely opens up some huge questions, doesn't it? About time and maybe even free will.
Absolutely. Profound questions.
Okay, so this is all amazing, but how can we actively, tap into this heart intelligence? The article mentions a practice, attitude breathing.
Right. And what's great is that there are practical ways to cultivate this heart coherence. Attitude breathing is one technique from HeartMath.
How does it work?
Basically, it involves consciously focusing your breath, imagining it flowing in and out through the area of your heart or maybe your solar plexus. And while you're doing that, you actively try to generate or recall a positive emotional state, like feeling gratitude or compassion or appreciation.
So you're breathing and feeling.
Exactly. Combining the focused breath with the positive emotion.
And what are the benefits if we actually practice something like this regularly?
Well, the idea is that by consciously doing these practices, you can cultivate greater self-awareness, first off. You get better at managing your emotions, achieving more balance.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it helps foster a deeper connection, not just with yourself and your own inner state, but also with other people. It's really about actively nurturing your inner world to unlock these inherent capacities for well-being, clarity, and that deeper connection, strengthening that inner power source.
So pulling this all together then,
Yeah.
it really seems like we've been maybe looking in the wrong place. Or at least not the whole place, focusing just on the brain for consciousness.
Yeah, it's been a very brain-centric view, hasn't it?
But this deep dive into the heart's intelligence suggests reality is much more distributed,
Yeah.
energetic.
Exactly. I think the key takeaway is that consciousness probably isn't just locked up in the skull. It seems to be more of an energetic phenomenon, something that arises from this intelligent dance between the brain, the body, and crucially, the heart.
And the real power then, For our own well-being, our clarity, our connection to everything, it really lies within us, right? Inside, in our ability to cultivate this coherence in our own hearts.
Precisely. It's about recognizing and then harnessing that incredible potential that, well, it resides right within our own being. It's not necessarily something out there we need to find.
So maybe a final thought then for you listening.
Mm-hmm.
How might things change if you intentionally shifted your focus inward more often? Paid attention not just to your thoughts, but to your emotional state, the actual rhythms of your heart. Perhaps that deeper understanding of yourself and your connection to the world. Maybe that true source of power and insight has been right there inside you all along, just waiting to be felt.